I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Deedle-dee, deedle-dee, there they are, standing in a line. Bum, bum, bum. Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm Rugley. Welcome back to the Rugley Juice Recipes channel. Today, we're going to talk about something that I know I've mentioned about 1,000 times, and it has to do with one of my favorite flavors, and that is INW Yes, Sweet Cheesecake. So, I love cheesecake flavors, and I think that INW Yes, Sweet Cheesecake is just about the best, the most perfect, the most well-rounded, easily my top cheesecake flavor, but something that kind of irks me. No, it doesn't really irk me a little bit, but a lot of people get a coconut note from INW Yes Sweet Cheesecake, and I can see it. I can see why they get a coconut note from it. But personally, I don't really get a coconut note from it. I think it's just a delicious, creamy, slightly cheesy cheesecake with, just pretty much the right amount of a graham crust, and I think it's delicious. But every time I post a recipe, somebody's got to rain on my parade and be like, "Man, it tastes like coconut." That's cool. I'm glad it tastes like coconut. So I'm gonna make it into a coconut cheesecake. A little disclaimer, real quick. This is not a DIY made easy recipe. There are lots of flavors in here that are not on the season 1 or season 2 flavor list, but that's okay because this is something that I really wanted to do, and I started working on this recipe early on in December, and I think I've come to something that I think is really good. So yeah, we're going to start off with 4% INW Yes Sweet Cheesecake. At 4%, I think you're going to get a really nice base for a cheesecake. This is a coconut forward recipe, and normally with my cheesecakes, I like to have like a whole bunch of graham crust because I really like graham cracker. Normally with my cheesecakes, I tend to kind of veer towards TFA, cheesecake graham crust, or Flavor West graham cracker as that kind of graham cracker crusty note. But I didn't want to make this a graham cracker forward recipe. And INW Yes Sweet Cheesecake already has a little bit of that graham cracker going on. So instead of adding graham cracker, I decided to go with 1% of INW Biscuit. Now, with this, you're going to get that kind of AP note. It's going to kind of elevate that crust. It's also going to add some butter to it, which I think is something that a cheesecake needs, but it's not really going to weigh down the profile with a lot of flavor. Another thing that I really wanted to do with this recipe was kind of elevate that creamy note, that cheesy note. I wanted to make it kind of sticky and thick without adding a whole bunch of egg to it, without adding custard to it, without adding a whole bunch of vanilla to it. So I went with Wonder Flavors Bavarian Cream Super Concentrate at 1%. Is going to make that cream note really sticky and thicken it up, but it's not going to bog down the profile with a whole bunch of vanilla or egg. The only thing that we need now is some coconut, and I didn't really have to look very far. Flavora Sweet Coconut is a really nice, sweet, oily coconut flavor. It's very natural, and I paired it with Vape Train, 0.5% of Flavora Sweet Coconut. And then I paired it with Vape Train Desiccated Coconut at 1%. Vape Train Desiccated Coconut is a dried out coconut flavor of nutty, toasty notes that I really want from without adding a whole bunch of like additional oil to it or anything like that, because that's another thing that coconut kind of does is it when you add a median amount of coconut to it, or even down a little bit lower, it tends to get kind of really oily or greasy, which is not something that I wanted to do here. Fluffy, sticky, coconut cheesecake. I really think that I kind of nailed it with this one. This does take quite a bit of time to steep. I'll tell you that I really, really like coconut, and FLV Sweet Coconut is probably the best just general purpose coconut, but it took me a really, really, really long time to understand the way that that flavor works. High for FLV Sweet Coconut is probably like 1 or 1.25. If you use it anything over that, it's gonna get kind of weird. But I find that the sweet spot for FLV Coconut is right about 0.5%. You get that nice coconut flavor. It adds a little bit of oily texture to it, which is something that you would expect from a coconut flavored cheesecake, but it doesn't get weird. I've heard it described as like suntan lotion before, which is something that I can definitely see. FLV Sweet Coconut, it takes a really, really long time to steep. Some of that oil kind of backs off a little bit and kind of blends into the cream, and you get that really nice, like that really nice nutty, milky, creamy coconut flavor. I messed around with this recipe quite a bit. I think it went through several different iterations. Like I said, I've been working on it for pretty much the entire month, and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. Right up front, you get that sweet coconut, and then it's nice and buttery, a little bit of that biscuity graham cracker flavor, and then the finish is just creamy coconut and cheesecake. This is a delicious, delicious recipe. I think it's something that's probably good in the warmer months. It's also something that's good in the cooler months. As far as sweetener goes, I've messed around with a couple of different sweeteners with it. I still just like 1% of Flavor West sweetener in here, as I do with most of my cheesecake recipes. Definitely have to let this one steep for a couple of weeks though before you get the maximum flavor. Yeah, delicious. If you get a chance to try this one out, let me know down in the comment section below what you think about the recipe. If you want to help support the channel, there's a link to my Patreon campaign down in the description of this video. If you can't help support me monetarily, that's okay too. You can subscribe to the channel, make sure you turn notifications on so that I get to annoy you every time I upload video. Like, and I will definitely see you guys in the next one.